Hey, what's up, boxing world, man? This is your boxing genius from SBMBoxing.com. You guys have not heard from me in a while. We all know that, but again, that was the holidays. And by the way, I hope that everyone had a safe and blessed holidays. And we're now 15 years into the new year, and I hope everyone has a nice, safe, blessed, successful, healthy new year. Okay? And talking about this new year. The new year supposedly is bringing this big mega fight that we all have been waiting for and wanting for the last, 5 or 6 years. So finally they're talking about it's going to happen. Well, guess what? If we could talk about this a little bit more, I might just say this is just a bunch of what? Bunch of bullshit to me, Like I said, I do not believe it until I see everybody has signed. And like I said before, Mayweather talks a lot of shit, okay? If you go back to 2009, when he comes back from retirement, at that time, Pacquiao was the actual pound-for-pound king in boxing, in the welterweight division, if we recall that. Now he comes back from retirement and he tells the pound for pound king that he wants to fight with him, but he wants 60% of the purse and Pacquiao only gets 40%. Here you come back from retirement and you're demanding shit from the pound for pound king, who is number one right now, Pacquiao, bringing all the money. Then at the same time, you want to tell this guy that you want to do some random blood testing and urine testing. Who in the fuck has heard of some shit like that, Mr. Floyd Mayweather Jr.? But again, like I said, you are a very intelligent individual, business-wise and boxing-wise, inside the ring and outside the ring. And you got some excellent advisors like Al Heyman. He protects your ass, He actually protects you all the way through, and he knows how to do this shit. He protects all his boxers. I'll give you the best example is that when you put the poll out there between Marcus Maidana and Amir Khan, the fans actually voted for Amir Khan. Do you actually think that Al Heyman did not talk to Mr. Mayweather and said, Mr. Mayweather, you are fucking crazy. You do not want to fight Amir Khan right now. Leave that guy for later on. We'll put excuses the same way we have been putting excuses for Mr. Pacquiao, and let the fans decide that you have a fan base which is large enough and believes all this bullshit that you talk. Okay? Then in 2009, he does that. And now all of a sudden, December the 13th, remember that date? Well, that's when Amir Khan fought Devon Alexander last year. We watched that fight right here. And what did that boy do to Devon Alexander? He kicked Devon Alexander ass. Didn't he do that? He gave him a schooling in boxing. And by the way, I said it and I keep saying it. I give Mr. Kenneth, Let's Speak Boxing, my son, a lot of credit. Because he told me, he kept telling me over and over again, Amir Khan is one of those guys that would be more dangerous to him than actually Pacquiao. Yes, Kenneth said that to me. Kenny, let's speak boxing. And I believe what he said. And I remember those words. And to me, he's absolutely right, man. That's why he doesn't want to fight Amir Khan. So now, who did he select? Mr. Pacquiao, finally. And fans, let me tell y'all something out there. Everybody talking about this fight, this big-ass mega fight, and blah, blah, blah. To me, after all these damn fucking years, yeah, we'll see it, I'll see it and all that, but guess what? I really don't fucking care really right now. You know why? Because it's going to be a boring ass fight. We're going to have Mr. Pacquiao going after Mayweather just like he did against Mr. Algieri. That's why he fought Algieri. Freddie Roach put him in there to see if he could go 12 rounds chasing a fucking rabbit. And that's what he did. And he did it. That's going to be a boring ass fight to me. To me, Canelo-Cotto fight would be more of an interesting fight to watch than to watch Pacquiao and Manny at this point in time. Manny and Floyd Mayweather Jr. I said Pacquiao and Manny. It's the same fucking dude, isn't he? But anyway, yes. It is going to me, a boring ass fight, By the way, let me wet my whistle, man. Hold on a second. So anyway, that day he calls out Manny. He tells to Steve Farhood, I think it is, the boxing analyst from Showtime. He tells him that he's ready to fight Manny Pacquiao and even offered a date to fight him. Then he talks about that Mr. Manny Pacquiao is in a very, very tight situation. Why? You know that he lost to Marquez. He got knocked the fuck out by Marquez. He lost to Bradley. His pay-per-view numbers are really down. Then he finally fought Chris Algieri, a cherry picker. And that fight, his numbers were down. But now, he's ready to fight him. At 37, and Pacquiao at 36, they're ready to fight each other. And today, after he says that, on the 13th of December, my understanding is that Pacquiao has signed off on everything. Bob Arum has said that he signed off on everything. Okay, those were his quotes on an article that I was reading just this morning. That Mr. Pacquiao has signed off on everything. Now it is up to the two big television channels, HBO and Showtime, to come to an agreement. And people today, I still do not believe, that fight is going to happen. It's always going to be some bullshit. I think Showtime and HBO may not come to an agreement. But at least we know that in Showtime, the CEO, Leslie Moonves, has talked to Al Heyman and told him, look, man, you better get this fight going and let's rock and roll with this fight. People are getting involved. Cable people, CEOs are getting involved. They don't want to hear this bullshit no more about Mayweather dodging and talking shit about he's going to do this, he's going to do that. People are getting tired of that bullshit, Mayweather. Okay? He has one choice, man. You either fight Amir or you fight Pacquiao. And he might slip out of both, the way I look at it. Showtime and HBO probably not going to come to an agreement. And then he's not going to fight Amir Khan, definitely. He don't want to get his ass kicked. Amir Khan is too fucking fast for him. He's faster than Pacquiao, the way I see it. So who do you think he might select? He might select Keith Thurman, who looked lousy against a 40-year-old guy. And he's ranked. You know, a lot of people like to see him because he's not going to fight Kell Brook. He's not going to fight Sean Taylor. And maybe he might select Bradley. I don't know. But, you know, I'm waiting for this fight. Hopefully this fight could happen. I'm not going to be very enthusiastic about it as I was a couple of years ago. People today are still saying, no, he needs to fight Pacquiao to really prove himself. Well, guess what? I have come to that point that's not obviously true, you know. I think maybe Pacquiao, yes, he has lost a little bit. You know, I mean, he still got his hand speed a little there. He still has his movement, but not as before. And I would have loved to see this fight back in 2009, 2010, when they were both at more or less the peaks of their career. This way they both could have demonstrated what they got. And they would have showed to me and maybe the boxing world out there who's the best of the best at that time. Honestly, I really don't think that this fight's going to happen. And if it does happen, you know, we'll talk about it. And who am I going to pick? I'm not going to pick anybody right now at this time, in fact, because I think that is not going to happen, you know. Simple as that, you know. And I would just like to say to you people out there, you know, we all hope and pray it does happen. And they're talking about $300 million fight. And Mayweather's talking about, and Pacquiao's agreed about it, MGM Studios in Nevada. Okay, Las Vegas. And, you know, the only thing that I think that Mr. Manny Pacquiao better watch himself upon is in that fight, and I'm pretty sure that Mr. Freddie Roach, he's got to be smarter than that also, that he hosts, that he don't go in there and let him select his referees and judges at the same time, okay? Like he did against his second fight against Maidana. Then not, Kevin Bayless, the referee. And then you have Dave Moretti as a judge, and then you have Chapman as a judge. And maybe even Julie Letterman as a judge. So you got 2 or 3 judges there that are Mayweather judges. You know, and I don't agree upon that. I think a fight of this magnitude and a mega fight of this nature, I think they should get some judges from other countries outside, more or less a good judge, in my opinion, not because I'm Puerto Rican and Nelson Vasquez. I'm Puerto Rico. You get a British judge and you get an Australian judge, somebody from the outside, someone who is not involved in Vegas at all. A judge, a referee, Kevin Bayless, fine. A judge at this time, a judge, keep saying judge. A referee at this time does not have a big factor inside that, more or less, scoring. Unless you bring that same judge that Amir Khan had against Peterson in D.C. But other than that, I don't think, it has a big impact. But I would love to see the fight. Yes, I would. But honestly, again, I don't think it's going to happen. And why it's not going to happen? Because Mayweather's still doing what? He's still tweeting around and making excuses for himself, So what do I say? I wish you guys have, again, a wonderful, happy New Year in front of you, a safe one, a blessed one. Hoping that we will see more of you guys watching this in 2015, bringing you post-fights, pre-fights, mostly all the big events with myself, my son Kenneth, SBM Boxing, with Nelson Clyde, the Godfather, with Chino, with Rocco, and the big SBM family. We love you guys. Be good. Take care. Good night.